What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Monday. Got a nice 6-game slate here tonight. I'm very excited about it. Excited to be back making a video. I apologize for the limited videos recently. It's been really busy and haven't had the time to get around to upload a video for the day. But I'm back here again. We should have a more consistent upload schedule here this week with a video every day. So if you're excited for the slate and excited for these plays, go ahead and drop a like in the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. Goes a long way. Let's try to get over 80 likes in this one, and let's hop right into it, as I'm a little bit sick to begin with, so my voice has been kind of like clogging mid-video. Had to clear my throat, so it doesn't really make for a great video, so I don't want to be extending that where it potentially happens again. So first guy up, we're going to go with TRAE Young. Very limited option to the top. I think Giannis is a risky play at 12,000 in a matchup that could easily be a blowout against the Knicks, and the Knicks are in a back-to-back. So I think TRAE Young is a safer option with the floor and just consistent, more just easier minutes to get, as I think Giannis could not play in the fourth quarter in that game. This game against the Golden State Warriors has a much easier chance of staying close, as the Hawks have been really struggling recently. And I think TRAE Young will be able to carry the load again here. His usage rate has been crazy recently, averaging like 25 shots a game. His assist rate has been solid all year long, and I think he can get us over 50 DraftKings points again here. His price is up, but this slate isn't very attractive for a lot of fantasy points, I think. So I think TRAE Young, even if he gets like 55 to 60 DraftKings points, I think he's still worth it, just because it's not many other top-end guys I think can really go off on the slate to compete against him. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my first guy. I'm going to go with Buddy HIELD, similar to TRAE Young. He lost his duo in De'Aaron Fox when TRAE Young lost his duo in John Collins. So both these guys have had to play some more minutes, have had to take on some more usage. Buddy HIELD, the last 3 games, 26, 24, and 20 shots. And this is a guy that can always get hot and hit a ton of threes like he did against the Celtics and really return a lot of value. So 41 and 55 DraftKings points 2 out of the last 3 games. And I think he can catch fire in this game. Chicago, not a very good defensive team. I think Buddy HIELD will be able to find his groove here in this game. He is risky, as he can have nights where this goes absolutely cold, which is weird, though, for a guy that can get so hot. So I guess he is kind of a streaky scorer, and that kind of makes him risky for DFS purposes. But I think it can counteract itself with the easy matchup against Chicago. And I think the Kings will be able to score pretty easily against this team. So I think I'm going to take Buddy HIELD, the number 1 option, and a good, solid offense. I guess not solid anymore without De'Aaron Fox, but a solid kind of a solid situation against Chicago is pretty much what I'm trying to say, as the number 1 option in that offense. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my second guy. Then I'm going to go with ALEC BURKS here at 6,000. Kind of similar to Buddy HIELD. Can be a little bit up and down, as we saw against OKC. 3 for 17, only put up 17 DraftKings points. And that honestly can hold up. Like, his scoring is a big part of his upside day in, day out. So some risk here, but another matchup here against the Atlanta Hawks that very bad against opposing offenses. They're allowing a 37% clip at the 3-point shooters. So I think ALEC BURKS will be able to hit his here in this matchup. And at 6,000 here, I think he can just return us 5 times value at least and get us 30 DraftKings points. And then anything on top of that will be extra. Obviously, the one thing I think that holds back the Warriors some nights is that they just get down so big, so they're not able to see like 35 minutes consistently. But this matchup against the Hawks, it projects out to be closer. Burke should be able to get around 35 minutes. And I think with that said, we saw like the last 2 out of 3 games where he got 35 and 36 minutes. He got 31 and 48 DraftKings points. So that's kind of an example of how it adds more to his floor and ceiling. And the Hawks have been really bad defensively, especially without John Collins. Jabari Parker, not known for his defense in that starting lineup. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my third guy. I'm going to pair him up with Pascal with Draymond Green out. Pascal's obviously been better when the starting lineup without Draymond Green. More consistent minutes, more opportunities for him. And he's kind of been that second or third option alongside ALEC BURKS and Bowman. So I think Pascal, though, should be able to get a good amount of run here. Their bench is really thin. Like I mentioned, Jabari Parker, not known for his defense. I think Pascal will be able to get a good amount of scoring and hopefully get the rebounds that go with that, as that can kind of add to his upside, as when he's getting those like 7 to 8 rebounds. And if the scoring on top of that can be really good for him. And it is a big pace uptick going against the Hawks. So at 5,600, I think the two top-end guys, Burks and Pascal, both or either one of those guys could return a good amount of value in this game if it stays close. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my fourth guy. I'm going to go with ARON Baynes. Maybe some ownership is kind of put off him a little bit because he's been kind of fighting through injuries. Like he had a few games off with a hip injury, and then he got a calf strain the other night, I guess, but he's probable. So I'm assuming maybe they're kind of being a little bit protected with him. They're being a little bit safe with that calf strain injury. Who knows? But this matchup against the Hornets, if there was ever a time for them not to be safe, it's in this matchup because the Hornets have two kind of bigger centers with Biyombo and Zeller. So I think Baynes has to play 25 to 30 minutes in this game just to kind of match up with their size. As Kaminsky is a little bit undersized, more of a stretch 5, but Zeller and Biyombo are both guys that kind of more in the paint. So I think Baynes will be able to get a little bit extra run hopefully in this game. And he was performing very well before his injury. Had like around 30 DraftKings points a night. So he had 59 in this game against Golden State, 38 against Philly. So he was having some really big games. He played pretty well his first game back from injury as well. A 17, 7, and 1, and he was efficient with those minutes. So I think if he could somehow churn his way into more minutes here, like I said, it matches up well for him to see some extra run as they play bigger. Typically, big men in the starting lineup, when the team has those bigger players as well, they kind of have to match up here like we saw against the 76ers against Joel Embiid. Got 32 minutes. Against Memphis, they're pretty big with Valanciunas and their Brandon Clark off the bench, 28 minutes. 29 against Miami. What's his name? Bam Adebayo and Myers Leonard, a pretty big lineup there. So you always kind of try to factor that in. If the other team does have centers that are true centers, then you always want to kind of project out more minutes for a guy like ARON Baynes to match up with them a little bit more. So 5,400 here, and the Hornets have been really bad against opposing centers. I'm going to go ahead and lock in ARON Baynes there as my fifth guy. Then an obvious play here, but I feel like I have to mention him just because his value is so good where I wouldn't want to not mention him and have him just break the slate and you guys not be on him, is Dennis Smith Jr. I mean, Frank Ntilikina is highly questionable for tonight. He got a back injury yesterday, and the coach even said that it's not too serious, but it is a back-to-back. Typically, when someone gets hurt in the front leg of a back-to-back, they typically don't play in the second end. So if Dennis Smith Jr. gets some extra run here, we saw last game out, he got 38 minutes on 32 DraftKings points. So obviously, when this guy gets extra minutes, he is always a guy that's going to be active on the court and be able to return value. Like the last two times we saw him get 30 minutes, he had 32 DraftKings points, a 13, 6, and 8, and 38 minutes against the Celtics, a 17, 7, and 1, good for 32 DraftKings points. So at 3,200, close to the bare minimum salary, he could return 10 times value easily here tonight if he does get 30-plus minutes. And so I think Ntilikina, an obvious injury to target. Game starts at 8 p.m. Should be able to get word before lock on that as well. So I think Dennis Smith Jr., an obvious plug and play with that injury. Obviously, if Ntilikina is playing, then probably not going to be in Dennis Smith Jr. unless we get word that he's going to be on a minutes limit or something like that. But he could be in more of a GPP play if that back injury does flare up in the game. Then just turn to Dennis Smith Jr. regardless if Ntilikina is playing. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and lock him in for the time being. We still got 6,100 remaining per player, so it's very easy to fill out after this if you want to roll with these guys. So we got Trae Young, Buddy Hield, Pascal, ARON Baynes, ALEC Burks, and Dennis Smith Jr. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a like in the video if you did. Over 80 likes would be appreciated. Thank you. Also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more videos going forward. But good luck here tonight, guys. Hope you win a ton of money, and we'll see you back here again next time.